Layla Sjolander. My policing was nothing more than activism. It had to be, is a quote said by policewoman Karine Betty. We have all witnessed the civil unrest among communities and police officers, whether it's through the media or through firsthand experiences. There's no denying the tension that has recently erupted amongst these groups. Community-based policing prevents crime. First, I will give you the definition of community-based policing. Second, I will talk about my experiences with community-based policing. And finally, I will talk about situations where it has worked. First, I would like to give you the definition of what community policing actually is. Dictionary.com defines community policing as the assigning of the same one or two policemen to a particular area so that they become familiar with the residents and that the residents become familiar with them to reduce crime. It is not only important for police officers to be well acquainted with the residents, it is also very important for them to be well acquainted with other organizations in the area, including local schools, businesses, churches, newspapers, child protective services, and probation and parole officers. Having a parent in the law enforcement community has allowed me to have a very unique understanding of police officers because I've grown up with them around me my entire life. My dad, Layla Sjolander, has been a police officer for over 20 years and is currently the police chief in the city of Kenyon, where we live. It is not hard for me to see police officers as normal people because I grew up with them around my dinner table and going to their birthday parties, which those are experiences most normal or average people do not get. My dad takes great pride in having great relationships with our community and that the department is so well known and well out there in our town. When asked to give a story about a time community policing really worked for him, he mentioned a time he was working a bike rodeo when a mother came up and had mentioned some concerns she had about her husband. My dad talked to her for a while and then decided he would stop by later. When he did, he found stolen property and narcotics, arrested the father, and made a safer place for the mother and daughter, and got the father the help he needed. Finally, I would like to explain a situation where community-based policing has worked. The Hopkins Police Department in Minnesota implemented Operation Recess, which is when police officers signed up for shifts to go in plain clothes to the schools around the community and just play with the children during recess. They were not in positions of power or to be scary. They were simply put there to have fun. In an interview on police relationships, Officer Ernie Morris said, "When we get to have fun, the children get the opportunity to ask us questions that they might be afraid to ask at other times." The Hopkins Police Department reported in their article successful practices and strategies that they reduced the tickets given from 15 a week at the school to only 5. They also reported they made relationships with over 1,200 students who are now more likely to come forward if they've been a victim of a crime, to report a crime, and to not partake in any crime. Today, I gave you the definition of community policing, my experiences with it, and a situation where it has worked. Now, with this information, I hope you can live your life with a little more appreciation for community policing, as they are the people who risk their lives to protect yours.
344. 1, 2, 3.